Today marks 20 years since a high school tragedy in the East County. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Carlo Cicchetto.
And I'm Carrie Lane in for Barbara Lee Edwards. Two teenagers were killed when a classmate opened fire at Santana High School in Santee. 13 others were hurt. Tonight, the community is joining together to remember the victims. News 8's Alicia Summers spoke with the investigators and a student who was there that terrible day.
I spoke with a woman who was a student here at Santana High 20 years ago when that shooting happened. She was a few doors down from this boys' bathroom where the shooting started. I also spoke with two sheriff's detectives who were the first on scene that day, and their heroic actions, along with their team, no doubt saved lives and changed policy and training in law enforcement.
And then it says a student has been shot. And that, I'll never forget that.
It has been 20 years since the Santana High School shooting where a 15-year-old student shot and killed two other students, 17-year-old Randy Gordon and 14-year-old Brian Zucker, and wounded 13 others.
It's been 20 years, but there's not a day that goes by that when I drive by here, I don't remember the two young men that lost their lives, and I think about them and their families all the time.
Retired Sheriff's Detective Ali Perez and current Detective Jess Allensworth were among the 8 deputies who unanimously agreed not to wait for SWAT that fateful day and rushed into the line of fire to help.
And I knew that all of us or one of us or some of us were about to get shot, but you know, there's kids getting shot and you got to do what you got to do.
Detective Perez arrested the shooter about 3 minutes after arriving on campus. It was because of their collective decision to go in and not wait that saved lives.
Oh, no doubt more students would have been shot, injured, killed.
The way this group of heroes responded became known as IARD, or Immediate Action Rapid Deployment. In other words, don't wait, help right away.
It's one of those things, time is of the essence.
It is still hard for former student Kristen Dare to talk about that fateful day.
As we heard the noises and the screams and things going on, I think my mind immediately told me this is fake.
Dare was a junior, just 15 years old.
There was a campus supervisor who was shot and he was laying on the ground.
Dare was able to run off campus uninjured. Perez and Allensworth were not injured that day either and have a resonating message to the community.
The people that do these things, they don't have glory when they're done. You know, when it's all over, there's no glory. They have regrets.
There will be a candlelight vigil remembering and honoring the victims, Randy and Brian, and all those affected that fateful day. The vigil starts at 7 o'clock tonight here at Santana High School in Santee. Carlo and Carrie.
Petco Park, SeaWorld, and other sports and entertainment venues, as well as theme parks, can reopen on April 1st if the numbers stay in the right direction.
Under new guidance from the State Department of Public Health, ballparks and theme parks will be allowed to reopen with capacity control mandates if their home counties move back to the red tier. San Diego and LA counties are still in the purple tier, but they are expected back in the less restrictive red tier by April 1st. John Howard is in for Kyle tonight. He'll have more on what that means for Padres fans coming up a little later in sports.
Sacramento is sending more than $6 billion to schools across the state to help get students back in classrooms as soon as possible. Governor Newsom just signed AB 86 to try and get districts to reopen to students by the end of the month. School boards can tap into $2 billion of funding, but only if they agree to resume in-person instruction by the end of March.
This bill is going to really accelerate openings all across the state. And with that, let's get that $6.6 billion out into the districts.
Some large teachers unions, including United Teachers of Los Angeles, are slamming the bill as an unsafe and rushed return to classrooms. Tonight, county officials are reporting 499 new coronavirus cases, a handful fewer than yesterday. That represents a 4% positive rate out of more than 13,000 tests. Confirmed COVID hospitalizations fell to 381. And the ICU count is now 125 confirmed COVID patients. 12 additional deaths are being reported. That total is now 3,371. Nearly 12% of San Diegans are now fully vaccinated. The city of San Diego is winding down homeless services at the convention center brought by Operation Shelter to Home. Today, Mayor Todd Gloria said all homeless people still there, about 600, will be transferred to other shelters starting later this month. The program began in April as a way to give homeless San Diegans a safe, clean place to weather the pandemic.
If you plan on visiting Mission Beach anytime soon, you may notice some new signage along the boardwalk and surrounding park areas.
The signs installed by the city's Parks and Recreation Department this week are to remind people to abide by certain rules as we're still in a pandemic.
News 8's Shannon Handy has reaction from visitors and what city officials are saying about it.
Carrie and Carlo, if you visit the boardwalk or neighboring park areas, you'll notice a lot of people are not wearing masks. So city staff just posted these new signs to remind them of the rules.
As soon as we stepped foot onto the Mission Beach Boardwalk Friday, it didn't take long to spot plenty of people not wearing masks.
Everyone that's been on here has no mask.
20% of people have the mask. 20%.
To their credit, maybe they weren't aware, per San Diego County Public Health Order, masks are required while on the boardwalk or any other trailer park.
Did you know that you have to wear a mask while on the boardwalk?
No, I actually had no idea.
City officials have put forth a new effort to ensure people do know. Earlier this week, San Diego Mayor Todd Gloria tweeted out these pictures with a caption, "Residents in Mission Beach requested additional signage along the boardwalk to remind folks to wear masks, socially distance, and follow public health guidance. Things like staying home if you're sick, not shaking hands or engaging in any unnecessary physical contact, and avoiding crowded areas."
This is not a time for us to shy away from any of the public health guidelines because we are still in the middle of the pandemic.
Mayor Gloria's Deputy Chief of Staff, Nick Serrano, says a total of 9 signs were installed after Mission Beach residents reported seeing too many people break the rules. At this point, the intention is to educate people, not ticket them. As for how long the public health order will be in effect, no one can say for sure.
We are all hoping to get out of this situation sooner rather than later, and the sooner that we can do what is being asked of us, and as soon as the vaccines become available, we'll be able to see more progress and emerge on the other side of this.
Until everybody gets shots and I know that everybody's safe and get back to work, yeah, absolutely.
If you'd like to see a full list of what's still closed and what the rules are here in San Diego, we have a link up on our website. Just go to cbs8.com.
Thank you, Shannon. Robocalls are ramping back up to pre-pandemic levels. With more call centers back open, a software developer in Irvine says scam calls shot up to 4.6 billion in the U.S. alone last month.
Felt like I got half of those. News 8's Heather Hope has more on which robocall is the most common and how you can avoid it.
And more with no deductible.
It does seem like we're getting more and more robocalls all of a sudden. Well, a Southern California tech expert says it's not all in your head, and he's tracked the data to prove it.
If you're interested in renewing your auto warranty now, please press 5 now. You're removed from our list.
A rampant rise in robocalls.
And for whatever reason, that scam has really ramped up over the last 2 or 3 months in volume.
Alex Quilici, CEO of UMail in Irvine, that is a robocall blocking software. His data shows 4.6 billion robocalls were placed just in the last month alone, equating to about 165 million calls a day and 6.9 million calls every hour.
Whether you blocked it or you answered, they're just calling and calling and calling.
The incessant calls come to our newsroom. News 8 producer Kurt Boy gets them nonstop.
I always block the number. Yet they will figure out how to call me back from another number a lot of times.
Kurt gets the auto warranty scam call.
If you're interested in renewing your auto warranty now,
when you call the number, you don't get an answer back.
Then I put myself on the do not call registry, but then I still get all these annoying robocalls. And it seems like this auto warranty call is the one that I'm getting more frequently lately.
The FCC says you can report it to them. They made this warning video about call spoofing, alerting consumers to not answer. Don't say anything, because once someone hears a live voice on the line, they can call back. Never press any buttons and never give out personal information.
Download one of these robocall protection apps and it'll make a remarkable difference.
UMail reports the top type of robocalls are scams, payment reminders down to telemarketing. Then the most common type of scam calls are the infamous warranty scams.
Car warranty calls, whether they're scams or some sort of telemarketing, is the single biggest volume robocall that's out there right now. And the crazy thing is, our estimate is over 300 million of them last month. So that's one call for everybody in America.
It doesn't stop there. UMail ranks Atlanta as the city with the most robocalls, and California is the top state after Texas with 419 million robocalls. So it doesn't help that I have an Atlanta number for my personal phone and a California work phone number, so I'm getting the robocalls on both phones nonstop. Heather Hope, News 8.